this is where we have reached so far. I want to open this for any questions that you may have from the last session. I will be more than happy to answer those questions before we move forward. Okay. So quickly on recap on this kind of a data. So this data is basically created by the claims team of one of the organizations, XYZ. You can name it anyways. So what are they collecting? Collecting data on the claims that they're getting for settlements. Most of the employees, they they submit either a medical claim or a travel claim, or could be both claims at any given point in time. There are 4 zones in which these offices have been divided. So they are collecting all these data. So zone wise, claim type wise, they also record the date when these claims are received, when they are approved, how much time it has taken for the approval, when the claims get paid, how much time it has taken to make that payment, what was the amount, if it was delayed, what was the reason, who was the account officer who worked on that claim. Okay, and then some additional information we pulled out just to see if there is any additional things that we can highlight or we know. Now we learned a lot of things yesterday. We converted a lot of pivots. Now what happens? I can only do pivots for data which is continuous in nature. Okay, so just understand this point very carefully. What I'm just trying to tell you. The data, the pivots can be converted only with the data that is continuous in nature, which means which has numbers. But if you realize a lot of data set that we have is not continuous data, like zones. Zones is a text data. Type of claim is also a text data. Right? Similarly, if we were to do something with the account officers, this is again a text data. Days of the week, this is again a text data. Okay, days to pay in okay, not okay, this is again a text data. But what we are now doing to understand what this data is talking about, that is exactly what I mean by when you have qualitative data, you convert that qualitative data into numbers, and that is what we did here. For each zone, we converted these zones, okay, into numbers. And that is where we were able to do some analysis. Similarly, for claim type and any mix and match we wanted to do on this data. Okay, wherever we had continuous data, we were straight away able to do whatever we wanted. We calculated an average time for the days to approve, and we also calculated an average time for days to pay as well. And if you observe here, the statistics that we ran was not on any discrete data. It was only on the continuous data that it was possible, because this is not a property of a discrete data where you can run any statistics like this. I'm not saying you cannot, but that data will not allow. So if you talk about zones, there are only 4 zones. So what statistics are you going to run with those 4 zones? There are only 2 types of medical claims. There are only 2 account officers. So it is difficult to do any statistical validation or analysis on the discrete data. And yes, or anything which is continuous, and we had 2 continuous data sets here, days to approve, and for those 2 data sets we were able to do these statistical analysis. Okay, so we learned a lot of things yesterday. How do we move about extracting information, and how do we basically get some insights, what is happening. We learned a lot of we also learned a lot of different types of graphical outputs that are possible, and there are many more graphical outputs that are actually possible to draw from these data sets. A few we learned yesterday, there are two that we're going to learn today. And then I'm going to give you a little idea on how do we go ahead once we have done all these things. I call this a rough work for the person who is actually doing this. I call this as rough work, but then there has to be a final output which is going to go out from your mailboxes to the people, or I would say the consumers. Most of the time I call them my customers because they demand something and I'm fulfilling their demand. So I have internal customers who I support, and they look up to me on all these outputs. So I need to understand what my customers requirements are, and then basis those requirements I'm going to generate some meaningful insights for them so that they can take some decisions or do whatever they want to do as the next steps. All right. So the two new charts that I'm going to help you make is, I think we did these combo charts yesterday, but I'll still repeat because this is very interesting, and these combo charts really help us understand a lot of things on one single data slide. I could have done much more on this, and I can give you direction as to what makes more sense on combo charts. There are a lot of combo charts that are already available. There are a lot of combo charts that I can prepare myself manually as well. So maybe we'll start with the combo charts first. What I'm trying to put on the combo chart. So let's understand what I'm trying to put on the combo chart. I have this data on the claims, which is for the zone. So for each zone, I've got two claim types, and these are total number of claims that have been received. Okay. Now this is called my data preparation. And this is again a very important step because you should know what output you require and how the inputs have to be provided to the tool, because the tool will only take the input that it is designed for. So I should know what are the inputs. So I have to prepare my data in a way that I can push this into a tool and get an output. So that is what I call data preparation. I prepared this data, and I said that okay, out of these are the total claims for each of the zones. For each zone under each type, these are the claims that have been received, and what is the percentage contribution. So this is one angle that I looked at. I could have also looked at another angle. Maybe if I may not put percentage, I say the time. Okay, I could have also taken this as one of the ingredients for my combo charts just to see out of how many claims each zone is receiving and how much is the time that each zone is spending. Okay, so I have the time somewhere here and I can extract. Yeah, days to approve. Okay, let's days to approve because that is readily available. I could have taken days to as well. I simply copy this and I just paste it here. Okay. These are three items that I need to plot. I have to think through that what could be a better representation of these three items on just one output so that it makes sense for everyone. Okay. And nothing better than a combo chart, because a combo chart can be drawn on two axes. I can use left and right axis both for depicting my data, and it will show things because one axis may not be able to give me the right output or the right picture of what I want to plot. Okay, so to get to the combo chart, I select this entire data set, I go to insert, and then I enlarge this, see all charts. A lot of options that it starts giving you automatically. Okay, so one output could be like this, where it gives you all the three data points in one chart. So this blue line is the claims that have been received. These orange boxes are the claims that have been received only for medical, and then this gray box is time that it has taken to process this claim. This is one of them. We have to think through that, is this a better representation that anybody or everybody can understand? So for this data set, I think this is not, okay, because the one that the time taken is different than the other two data points where I'm saying these many claims received, these many claims were for medical for that particular zone. So that can be one combination, but time taken for processing those 10 claims or 11 claims or 20 claims should be shown separately so that people can make head and tail. Okay, so lot of other bubble charts are also here, but these may not be the right fit here. Let's go to all charts. Again, they are giving a lot of options here. Okay, so they're plotting everything in one go, very cluttered, not very easy for people to understand. The best possible combination could be like this. Okay, now I can plot it like this, where I have two bars, on each bar showing the total and the number of claims within each, and then this line showing the time taken. Okay, this could be one output, and I agree this can be one output, but then if I go to a stacked column, okay, one on the top of the other, that gives you a better insight about what are you trying to achieve. Now this gray line right now is on this scale. Let's understand this, okay? This is very, very interesting and important. So you see there is only one scale on the left. Whatever you are plotting in terms of those numbers are only plotted against this scale. But this time taken is not related to this scale, which is number of claims received and number of claims that have been received for particular claim type. I would want this line to be shown separately on other axis, and I have an option of selecting a second axis, and that option is right here. You see these boxes under the secondary axis, you just check this box. So the moment you check this box, you see there is another axis that comes on the right of this graph. Okay, and this gray line that you now see is plotted against this axis. So it is beautifully shown that how the timings have gone, okay, for these claims. So you can now correlate that even though there are more claims here, the time is less. Here the claims are less, but the time is more. So you are now able to visualize it, and anybody who is looking at this can visualize what is happening. And that is a skill will come only when you keep practicing, keep drawing those outputs, keep getting those inferences, and then challenging what you have drawn. And the moment I click OK, I get this graph. Then I can beautify it the way I want. I can add some elements to this chart. And that is a very good idea of at least adding a data table, so that it you have both numbers and you have the graphical output only in one outcome. So if somebody says, okay, how much is this, they can just read through. So this is out of 26, there are 10 claims that were received in the medical under the East, and then 16 claims in travel in East, 10 claims medical in North, 11 claims travel in North, so on and so forth. These combo charts become a very powerful output tools for your representation. Okay, so this automatically gives you a story, and people can start relating. Here you are getting 26 claims, out of which 14 claims are from the travel, but the time that you're taking to process travel claims is much less than other travel claims. I could have segregated this. Okay, another option I could have only segregated the medical separately and travel separately. So that is also an option available. You can also do that. So you can put two separate graphs and then put a combo graph below this. There could be multiple outputs that you can do. This is the combo chart. Next chart that we're going to see, which also makes a lot of sense when it comes to continuous data, okay, quote unquote continuous data. That chart comes, gives you a lot of insights about what is happening, and that is called a box and whiskers plot. A box and whiskers plot. In the previous version of Excel, it was not possible. We had to actually do it manually. But now with the new version of Excel, this has become very, very easy to draw a box and whiskers plot. Now, let me give you a little idea about what a box and whiskers plot is and what it shows you. A box and whiskers plot normally takes median as their central tendency. Median. This line in between that you see, let me enlarge a little bit more. Yeah, now I think it would be much easily visible. So the line that you see right here in the in the middle, this is called the median line, or this is also called the 50th percentile of the data. What is 50th percentile? That means 50% of the data will always be on the left of this line, and 50% of the data will be on the right of this line. So this is called the 50th percentile. When you go down, okay, here, so this line that you see here is called the 25th percentile, okay, which means that 25% of the data is below this line and 75% of the data is above this line. And this line right here, which completes the box, is called 75th percentile. Percentile. So mark my word, this is not percentage, it is percentile. 75th percentile. Okay. Which means, with 75th percentile means that 75% of the data is below this line and 25% of the data is above this line. Now, this completes the box. Now, what is this box telling you? This box tells you how spread your data is. What is the variation in your data set? Okay. So, how much far apart each data point is there in your data set? And since it uses median as its central tendency, so the outliers get caught. Okay. I'll show you what outliers are. You see a cross here, right in the middle. This cross is the mean. So it will also plot the mean of the data, which is your average. Okay, so it gives you both. So you see this is the median and this is the mean. Then you see two lines going, one on the top, the other coming down. These are called whiskers. Okay, now the whiskers are drawn at 1.5 times the IQR. What is an IQR? These are all terms related to box plot. IQR. IQR stands for interquartile range. And interquartile range is calculated by subtracting 75th percentile and 25th percentile. Whatever that number comes becomes your IQR. Multiply this IQR with 1.5, so you get the length of these whiskers. The whiskers on the top and the whiskers. So this, including the whiskers, is 100% of your data set that should be there on the box and whiskers plot. There are times when the data may go beyond, because it is data that you have collected. You see these dots like this. There is one dot here and there is one dot here. Okay. Now these are called outlier points. So these points should not have come, but these points also tell you a story. Okay. There is something different that happened when they were processing these claims. That is why they have gone out of these limits, the whisker limit itself. And then an investigation on these points can help you get a lot more insights about what has happened. But that is a job of a specialist. Okay, and those specialists are Lean Six Sigma specialists. So these specialists are going to collect more data, collect more insights. They may go and interview people who are doing these processings to understand if they missed some steps or they added new steps because it took a lot of time, or was there any other reason they were not getting approvals, or it was stuck somewhere, it was some issue that they were facing with the system. So those needs to be investigated, because then these professionals are going to help reduce this time from whatever we have achieved to the target. Okay, so this box and whisker plot also tells you a comparative story. So the one I have drawn here, I'll just explain, and then I'll help. Help you draw another one. This one is drawn only between medical and travel claim. So medical and travel claim, and what it is showing, there is a huge variation. So medical and travel claims has got more variation than medical claims have got more variation than the travel claims. And how I'm making this inference, because if you look at the height of this bar, this box, and the height of this box is smaller than this box, right? And the height of this box tells me that here the variation is less in comparison to the box here. Now let's take some fresh data and let's draw another box and Viscous plot. I'm going to draw it here. I'm going to copy some data. So let me copy the zone data. I'm copying this and I'm going to paste it here. And then I go back. I copy this to pay. And then I come back and I paste it here. Okay, now I'm going to use this to draw a box and Viscous plot. Now, since I've got 4 different variables here, south, east, north, and west, I'm going to get 4 different boxes. Let's see how do we do it. It is very easy now with one click. So first I select this entire data. Okay, that way I save one step. If you do not select this, then you have to select this in the next step. But I prefer doing it first. I select this data, go to insert, and then I go to all charts, and right here you have box and Viscous plot. Okay, so you click on box and Viscous, you get some output, and you click OK. You get your box and Viscous plot. This is for the south zone, this is for the east zone, this is for the north, and this is for the west. The dark blue line in the center is the median line. The cross that you see is the mean, and these are those Viscous length. What the south zone is saying, that above the 75th percentile, we have a lot more data points. It means that south zone, the time taken to process has a problem, has a challenge, because there are more points above the 75th percentile. Okay, here it is small. Here, this is a good gesture where we see that the east zone is taking less time than the others, because this bar is longer, which is going down, which is my direction of good. Okay, my direction of good is down here. The lower, the better. The lower time I take, the better for the people. Okay, these are certain outputs that you can device. Then you can make your modification. You can add some elements if you want to. You can add titles, grid lines, legends. Okay, I actually wanted to combine this. Let me see if I have any options here. This looks cluttered. No. Okay, let's see if this is the one I was referring to. These are the tie lines or the connecting lines which are connecting your mean base to pay, that with eyes you can see where the problem is. So east zone is taking the least time, and north zone is taking more time than the others. So we looked at the numbers; those are not too much far apart, but graphically they gives you a different perspective of looking at data. So north zone has got less variation than the east zone. East zone has more data points here, in this box. Okay, and south zone has more data points here, so it gives you some story. Now, how do we really represent? So what I'm going to now show you is just very small part of how the dashboards happen, but I'm going to show you some sample things that we do with the dashboards um, to generate your outputs. Okay, but the next class that I'm going to take, which is only on the dashboards, and it will be a continuation from this outputs that we are going to generate, will transfer these outputs to those dashboards to help you understand how do we create those dashboards for different versions of audiences or different types of data sets. Okay, but I'm going to show you a sneak peek of the output, how the output happen. um, I want I just want to show you something more. So this is days pay zone wise, okay. I'm going to take this graph out from here. I'm actually doing cut control X. Okay, so it just comes out of here, and I'm taking this right here on this sheet. This is my final output sheet. So one way the people create the dashboards right on the Excel itself, on an Excel workbook. So they will have different tabs, and within those tabs they will keep publishing their dashboard. Okay, something I have done here. Okay, so I started my dashboard with number of claims zone wise. This was the first output we created, and then I wrote some takeaway. This is the story that you have to build. That is exactly what you have learned from the data. The story that you have unearthed has to be shown to the world in English. The story is always in English because a lot of people don't understand numbers. You are expert, you understand numbers, but we have to make people understand number by using English. So I've done some sample statements here. So what I've written, it seems that the number of claims received for each zone is almost similar. Within that, west zone received the maximum number of claims and north zone received the minimum number of claims. So that's one part of the story that comes out of it. Then on the second output, which is number of claims zone and claim type wise, which was the second graph that we created. The story that I've written is west zone received the maximum number of medical claims and the east zone received the minimum number of travel claims. We could have added more story both on medical and both on travel. I'm just showing you some samples here, the way we can put them into samples. Then there is another out which is average time to pay for zone wise. Okay, and oh sorry, there's one thing I also want to add. Now these graphs that I've taken have been created by creating my own data set. Okay, when I said prepare my own data, so this graphs has come from the data I prepared. But these two graphs below that you see have come from the pivots that we created. So I've linked these graphs to the pivot directly. And why I pulled all the graphs from the place where it got created, this place, is tomorrow if the data changes and the range that I've selected does not change, these graphs will get populated automatically. These will change automatically. Okay, so that's the reason why I always want to keep a fresh sheet. I will create a graph here, but I will then take this out and push it on another sheet. The advantage is that it carries the link of the data with it. The data link is still there, but the graph has come here on a clean sheet. Maybe I'll make few changes and you can then understand. So I'll make maybe I'll do something. I'm just changing this 26 to maybe 20, that we are able to see it is 20 now. Okay, so I go back. Okay, so this was a place. So I do this 20. See what happened? The graphs gets automatically updated. So that's a smart way of working. So when you are spending time, you may need more time the first time because you are doing all of this. But once, it becomes a practice, because every week or every month you have to provide this data. This becomes your template. Now, this entire sheet is going to become your template. You are only going to work on the data part. You will change the data set. The graphical outputs are automatically going to be updated with the new data set. Okay, and same goes with the pivots as well. Pivots is very easy. Pivots, you can refresh even on this page itself. You don't have to go back to the data. So you update the data, you refresh your pivot, and these charts get updated. Now, I prefer pivots. I'm not saying that everybody should prefer pivots. I prefer pivots for a very simple reason, because I work on very complex outputs, okay, which are more of financials in nature, and we cannot afford to make an error on financials. So pivots help me reduce those errors. Otherwise, I may do while I'm manually doing some average or applying any other calculations. So that's where I prefer doing pivots, but not everything can be done on pivots. Let's be very honest and candid and front. Sometimes you will have to create your own data from multiple sources, multiple pivots. So a lot of time pivots may not work. You will have to do it manually. Okay, and then finally, what I like, what I prefer, and what my senior leadership prefers is to see these dashboards on a PowerPoint slides rather than on Excel, because those PowerPoint slides then becomes more powerful outputs. You can do your story writing. You can connect one slide to the other slide. Here it may not be possible. You may have to add multiple sheets here. People may not know how to maneuver. Then you add more controls of making people go from left to right. I always prefer to put it on a spreadsheet. Now, this is what I have started now. This is just 2 slides I have put just to give you a flavor of how a dashboard looks like. But this is exactly the dashboard we're going to work in the next session. So we're going to spend the entire 2 hours only learning how we do the dashboards. Okay, and what kind of dashboards make more sense. I will have more versions of dashboards, maybe a few dashboards on some matrices and few dashboards on only for senior leadership, so that you get a little better flavor of how the dashboards work. I've just given a name dashboard. Monthly dashboard could be weekly dashboard, quarterly dashboard, or there could be a name of your dashboard, and then you put the date. You can also put your name if you are preparing and sharing this dashboard, so your name can also go here. You put a content slide. Whenever we're doing a dashboard, the first slide should always be an executive summary. Now, what is an executive summary? Executive summary is a very crisp output of your entire data set that you have done. This is mostly meant for senior leaderships to just have a glance and to understand your story. Okay, and then you can have more drilled summary slides below that. So you can have a claim summary. So within the claim summary you can have number of claims received, time it got approved, time it got paid, if how many claims got paid on time within that 18 days. So we also created that portion of okay and not okay, how many claims were okay, how many not okay. So you can put that summary. You can have zone wise. So you can take one zone at a time, put one zone on one slide and tell a story what is happening. Then you can have a comparative slides where you show what is happening between the zones, and then what is happening between the zones and with the claim type. So you can go to any much depth. And then finally, if somebody requires, I want to see the raw file, the raw data, you attach a raw data and send. Okay, and this is exactly what we're going to spend our entire day, 2 hours, learning how do we create these dashboards. If the time permits today, and when we end the recording, I can show you dashboard that I do for my senior leaderships, that can give you a good flavor of how the dashboarding happen. I will show you the raw file that I use, and then I will also show you the final output file that I put together and send it to the senior leadership, and basically it goes to everybody in the organization. So all the 36,000 employees get my dashboard every month. Okay. Now, team, we're done with the first case study, and we are about to start with the second case study. So let me give you a background of what this data set is. Now, as I promised, I am going to show you a data set on the matrices that we collect. So these are all operational matrices that we have collected. So what are these matrices? Number one, we need to know who processed that transaction. Each line item that you see, each row that you see is a transaction. Okay, is linked to a transaction. Somebody was sitting and he was processing. So we collected those numbers from that one transaction. The second row is the second transaction. The first thing that we extracted is who processed it. What was the date of the transaction? How much time he took to do this transaction? Okay. What were his grammar skills? What was his typing speeds? What was his tenure in days? What was his tenure in month? Which tenure bucket he falls into? What was his computer proficiency scores? Process knowledge test scores? Did he ask similar questions over and over again? Okay. What was his quality score on this transaction? Was the quality score met or not met? What was the day of the week when this transaction was processed? Okay. So these are the data that are already getting collected from the operations. Okay. So every single day we collect data for all the people. And similarly, we have collected almost 600 rows of data. This is huge data for anybody to do a good analysis. Believe me, 600 rows of data is amazing data to do any analysis. Okay, so there are almost 8,414 data points on this. Okay, 8,400 data points that you have. You understood the matrices. You have the average handle time, AHT. You have the grammar skills, typing speeds. You have the tenures divided into three. In fact, these two I added myself. It was only given in days, so I added into months by just doing a simple division by 30. And I wanted to know what is the range between which I have the people. So how many people between 0 to 60 days? So if I can convert them into a bucket, I will be easily able to find that. Okay, and all other related matrices. Okay, now to make the tenure range, I have used an if function, if and function. Okay. So you want me to spend time here? I can. Okay. I said if this is less than 60, because that's the first bucket I'm going to create, 0 to 60. If this is less than 60, then you say 0 to 60 days. Okay, so that's the first. Then I say if, now I need a range. So the next one is 61 to 90 days. And I'm saying if and both the conditions. This value, okay, is greater than 60, but this value is less than 90. Then you say it is 61 to 90 days. Okay, then I will say if this is also not true, then if and this value is greater than 90, but this value is less than 120, then you say this bucket is 90 to 91 to 120 days, so on and so forth. So I'm not building the entire formula. For this, we do other classes. Make sure that you keep a track on all the sessions. We do these 4 sessions where we learn all these things. Okay, this will not allow me to build this entire formula because it is asking me for more inputs. Okay. All right. It is giving me value because I haven't built the full formula because it is 158 and I haven't reached the 158 mark. But this is how the full formula will look like. So I'm saying if this F3, which is my tenure days, is less than 60, 0 to 60 days. If this value is greater than 60, less than 90, then this bucket. If this is this bucket, this is this bucket, this is this bucket, and then up to greater than 240 days is more than 240. So that is how this formula is being built. Okay, Arpit?
We can get n number of insights. So basically, we can prepare the dashboard category wise. If you want to see the tenure wise things, we can get the detailed tenure wise all the aspect of data in terms of category range you have created just now. So we can create, and we can one category graph we can create it for the higher proficiency skills. So high, low, and average like that.
Grammar skills, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
And computer proficiency score both. Whatever you have to score, high, low, and average. So we can create a category. One sort, if management want to see how many people comes under low category, high category, and average, that won't be maybe one sides. And if you want to see the tenure wise, category wise, so there's I think 4 and 5 category. So we'll get the data accordingly. Already you have mentioned. Okay. If you want to see the STY, so definitely it will be good insight. Suppose that we want person with a good typing speed. Anyway, so we can make a category on that also.
Oh, that's a very interesting thing, Ravi. That is very interesting thing. So any relationship between HT and typing speed. That's a very interesting thing that we can do. Amazing.
Even tenure will help us. Suppose that any people have a good typing speed, have a good tenure, either good typing speed with low tenure. So we'll get the person, if want to, you suppose that you hire to employee, in the low budget, you can get the good employee also. If you want the main requirement for that, so we can take a call on that also. Even suppose that any people have a very low tenure and very good typing speed and high computer proficiency score, that will be a good fit for other prospect in terms of that can be correlated.
Yes, amazing. Some of these things he explained, I'm going to do exactly what he asked me to do. So he said that we can do a tenure wise insights. We can do grammar skills and create categories. Similarly, we can also create categories on other things, the other discrete data that we have, the proficiency scores, process knowledge, we have the hard numbers. I want to introduce one more thing here, which is the targets. We also have some targets here for us to do some retrospection onto were we on target, not on target, and that could also be one of the views that we can add. So AST, we have 9, it could be minutes, seconds, whatever you want to think. it's 9 typing speed. They're looking at 25 words per minute. Process knowledge test score, they're looking at least 90% or 90 marks out of 100. And quality scores also at 90. So with this additional information, there is a lot more insights that we can draw. Okay. So what I will do, I will only do what Ravi asked me to do until others add to it what they want me to do. I'm only going to do these things. Just see how I do this because I'm expert in doing this, but I have just forgotten what all we can do. Again, I'm saying I've just forgotten. So Ravi helped me with these 4 things. I'm going to do these 4 things for him. Meanwhile, you can see, you can also think of what else can we do. Okay, 1 minute. Let me remove this from here. Okay. So as I mentioned that I am I'm very fond of pets. So before I do anything, I always prefer doing a pivot table and then do whatever I want to do. The first thing that I'm going to pick up is a tenure wise. Okay, so you have the tenure in, you want the tenure.
You take tenure range. That will.
The tenure range. Okay, all right. Tenure range would make more sense. Right. If I take the tenure range, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenure range. I just drop it here. Out of the 600 data points, I've got 276 in more than 240 days tenure. I've got 0 to 60, 72 people, 121 to 40 days, 168, and so on and so forth. Fantastic. I'm also fond of pivot charts. So I do not spend too much time in preparing my data. I'm not saying I will not prepare. If it is required, I will. But if I already have something which is readily available, I prefer using that. Okay, let's use some different outputs. Okay, let's add chart labels and let's add data tables. Yeah, data table. Or yeah, data table. Okay, so I've got a lot of tenured people in my process. Okay, almost 276 people are tenured. If I have to convert this into a percentage value, I can do that very well within this pivot. Okay, so 46% of my people are tenured, and you just observe the moment I make a change in the pivot, this also changes. What I can do, I can add both. Okay, I can add count and I can add the percentage contribution of this, and that's the beauty of the pivots. I can actually I can put this on a secondary axis. Okay, I can put this. I can do this like this combo. I can use a combo option here. So 76 people here, and this is overall 46% contribution. Okay, so that's a very good insight that I have got with the tenure. So almost close to 50% of my my people are tenured. Okay, Now what he's asked me to do is grammar skills relationship. This is going to be interesting now. Let's do grammar skills. Okay. So I'm going to quickly copy this pivot and reuse this so that I don't need to create it again. Now I will take away the grammar skill level. Maybe I can do away with the percentage. Okay. So 192 people on an average, 132 very high, and 276 low. So this is reverse. So almost 46% of the people have a low grammar skills. Okay, so this also gives me some picture. I can also add the percentage of people. Nothing stops me to do that. Okay, so nothing stops me of putting it. Okay, again, I can go use a combo chart. Yeah, that is my second output. I'm sure people are thinking now, what more? Because I'm almost about to complete this. Okay, now this is going to be interesting. Relationship between AHT, typing speed, tenure wise, and other relationships. We'll do one relationship at a time. Because AHT is, let's understand, AHT is my output. Okay, and all these other things, if you think from that point of view, are inputs, right? So yesterday we learned about the scatter plot, X and Y plot, where we said that Y is always an output and X is always an input. Y is a dependent variable and X is an independent variable. So the same is true, very true here on this data also. Now AHT is my output and this output is dependent on so many other inputs. Okay. So it is a very good idea that Mr. Ravi asked us to do a comparison with AHT. Can I find, and what actually he is trying to make sense of it, and most of the organizations, including me, would always look at a superhuman where he has the maximum output with minimum things that we can input to him. Is able to generate the best output, the best possible output. Superhuman. We haven't found one, but we will soon reach there. Okay, so how do I do a comparison? Again, there are a number of ways of doing a comparison. One, I can do it, I can extract some data from the pivot itself. So from the pivot, I'm just for a moment taking off everything. Maybe what we can start with date of transaction, because every day I've got a lot of transactions. Let's see every day what is the AHT. So instead of the sum, I have to do an average. Okay, that is where I get the two representations. So I get an average on every day. So that 12 days of data, but comprises of 600 data points. So each day I get some AHT. Okay. Now let's do it with tenure. We can do with tenure range. We can even do with tenure days and months. I'll show you, but both these things will be different. So let's put tenure range right now. Not here. Let's come here. Okay, so I'm going to make another change. I go to design, report layout. show in tabular form, and then just remove this. Field settings set to none, and I get this. Okay, so every day I've got the tenures and the AHT, and I can run a relationship between these two. Okay, or
Yeah,
I
if
can
you,
also
Bharat, sorry, if you put the the competency category low and high, then it's very easy to correlate the things.
okay, I can do that as well. Yes. Which was that? It was you saying computer proficiency?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. All right. As you say, sir, I can do a computer proficiency, or I can do a computer proficiency here. Yeah, this is an amazing information. See, a person of 240 days with an average or low computer proficiency has got 11.88. Somebody with highest tenure and very high computer proficiency has got higher AHT. Ah, that's a great insight.
Yeah, that's why
Wow.
I done it.
Yeah, wow, that's a great
Higher
insight.
tenure is definitely overall they are good, very good performer compared to other category.
No, here it is showing the other way around. See, so highest tenure, which is 240 days, very high proficiency, but has also got highest AHT. Maybe he's just bored out of doing this work. So he seems to be an outlier here.
One maybe it's one of the data is I think actual or it's like data only even 16 to
Yeah,
90
this is
days. Yeah,
this is cooked up
it's the
data.
average one also. That is the average one also. So you have to keep in mind also. This is the average
Yeah,
data.
so, yeah, average. No, so this is average.
It's
Sorry, you said something. I'm sorry.
yeah, number of people is more in this tenure. That's the average is coming low downside as compared to if you check 61 to 90 days. Somewhere is doing 15, just below that. 15.13,
Yeah.
44 column.
Mm-hmm. No, I got
44
it.
column.
Yeah.
Yeah, because number of average, if you the number of people is more in higher tenure. That's why the average is coming 12.4 here. Otherwise, if you choose individually, the higher side always.
Yeah. No, what you're saying is right. I can start here like this. Okay, so I can start here. I'll say tenure, what is the AHT? Then I do the next stage of adding a computer proficiency, and then giving some outputs. Okay, so this is but then this doesn't give me too much. This only just gives me what is happening, not too much insight. So then that's a starting point, right?
Yeah, maybe data is like it's not real data. Otherwise,
No, sir. This is real data.
real one. Yes, real data.
This is real data collected from one of the operations.
Okay, great.
I said yesterday,
Then
whatever data
definitely,
I'm
then it
giving
will
you
help us.
is real data. This is real data. I've only, played with the names here. I did not use the real names. I just
Means
cooked up the names. But
means
this
there is a
data
gap. Somewhere is a
is
gap. You have
data.
to find out. That is what the role here. We have
Ah,
to find out the gap.
absolutely. You got it, Ravi. That is what we're doing. How do I get my story out of my data? That is exactly what we're learning. How do I get my story out of my data? Okay, so we can also do a relationship between process, knowledge, score, and AHT. Maybe add another field. Okay, This way it will be. So I've got an AHT. Sorry, I've got an AHT, and I got a process knowledge test score. One second. I will have process knowledge on the left and AHT on the right. All right, let's do a scatter plot and see if we get something. If there is a relationship. XY scatter. Oh, wow. This gives me nothing. So this says there is no relationship actually.
That's
Even
giving two
if you are
categories.
good with
Two
process
categories people
knowledge,
is there. Yeah.
yeah, we'll then, so that's step number one. Then we will put them into buckets and then we'll study those buckets separately. But right now, overall, it is saying that your process knowledge score has got nothing to do with AHT. We have to validate this. It may be true, it may not be true, or it may seem that most of the people are above the target.
Yeah.
So my target is 90. Okay, so I can quickly do this. If this is greater than equal to 90, then okay, else not okay. What I'm doing. This is 50%. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, almost 50%. Wow, that's another, revelation. So 50% people have not scored, but then still it is not impacting AST. Maybe there are other factors, maybe not the process knowledge score. Let's run this. Let's do this. Let's run a correlation and see the coefficient. Oh, sorry. What happened? Oh, this is negative 0.05. So this is not related. Okay, so that is the output that you've got.
Yeah, we have to find out the two independent variable, one is dependent. Then it will be correlated couple, because I don't think.
Yeah, maybe multiple. Yeah. No, I'm not actually discussing all of it. People may get confused, Mr. Ravi.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to keep it a little simple for them. So we can also do with quality scores.
Yeah, that can. And
Yeah, so we can do a relationship between quality scores, process, knowledge, test scores, and AHT.
Yeah, that can
We
be.
can bucketize grammar skills. We can do a relationship. We tried relationship with typing speed. Oh, we didn't do that. Typing speed we did not do, right? We can do a typing speed and AHT. That would be a good test.
That will be.
So typing speed and AHT. Okay, let's do this. No. Wow. It still shows nothing.
EST is output, no? I think so.
Yeah, AHT is output. This is Y. When we do the scatter on Excel, you put your X first and then Y.
Yeah.
So I can use Corel also to get my coefficient. And looking at the output, it suggests it is still, yeah, it is 0.064. So not,
Nominally, not
yeah, it's
relevant.
very weak relationship or no relationship.
Yeah, no relationship. Fine.
Okay, but then that is something that we don't have to worry about. We have to present what your process shows. That's it. That's all. That's my role right now. I have to
Yeah.
present. I have to
Correct.
find out, what different cuts I can extract and show. Guys, I'm done with what Mr. Ravi asked me to do. I'm out of ideas now, so I need more ideas. Guys, fast, because we have to discuss the case study 3 as well. Vipin is asking, how do we add more formulas within a pivot calculation, average or percentage? Okay, fine. I'll take that up in a while. But before I tell you that, you have to tell me what more I can do, Vipin. So first answer my question, then I will answer your question. Barter system. So you answer my question, I'll answer your question.
Hi, Bharat sir. How are you?
Hey Vipin, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So I had just one query. So that's why I thought I should take it up with you.
Yeah, no problem. I can give you that output, but first you have to answer my question. What else can I do with this data?
This data is very complex.
Very
Although
complex.
yes.
Oh my God, sir, you haven't seen complex data then. I'll show you a complex data that I work on, which has got almost close to around 39,000 rows, and it grows every day. Okay. Vipin, I'll answer your question in a while.
Awesome.
I'll tell you how do we add, and we can make any formula within a pivot. I'll just show you in a while.
All right.
Hello, hi sir.
Yes, yeah. So please contribute, sir.
Yes, sir.
Tell me first. First, tell me. The 2 days. Were you there yesterday with us?
Yes.
Yes. So did you understand even 2% of what we discussed? At least 2 to 3%.
Yes.
Did you understand?
Yes. I understand pivot tables and dashboards like the visualization. Or that's it.
That's it.
Yes,
Did you understand how we derived some, we extracted some information from the data? वो
yes,
आपको
yes,
समझ आया कि
yes,
हमने
yes,
कैसे
yes,
कैसे उसको निकाला, कैसे किया? तो आज
yes,
हमने
sir.
जो डेटा दिया है उसमें से आप कुछ आइडिया दे सकते हो कि और हम उसमें से क्या निकाल सकते हैं?
सर इसमें से आप आज First thing is typing speed and computer proficiency score,
Mhm.
and also summarize the name wise,
We didn't look at
average,
even the name wise. Very good.
high, average, low. मतलब, yes,
Yes. Yeah, that's great. So people don't just get confused with relationships. Those are the last thing that you as a data analyst would be asked to do.
yes,
Your first role is to just understand the story behind that data and put that story as it is. You don't have to worry about whether the process is good, bad, ugly. That's not your role. That's not your job. Your job is to get that story and
as
put
it,
it in front of everybody else. Relationship ho nahi ho, that is secondary. If you can, nothing like it. Okay, but that's the secondary part. सबसे पहले हमें extract करना है कि हमें क्या करना है. अंकिता, आप कुछ बता सकते हैं? अंकिता, can you tell me something? What can we do more?
Yes, sir. We can create relationship between quality score and quality mate.
Oh yes. What else? So before relationship between quality scores, I think a good idea would be to know how many people met the quality scores, right? In the 12
Yes.
days and 600 transactions, how much is the quality score that I'm getting? How many people are able to meet my quality score? That would be one very important information for anybody to look at. And वो हम कैसे कर सकते हैं? वो हम नाम के साथ कर सकते हैं. हम एजेंट्स के नाम के आगे
yes, sir,
लगा
name
सकते
wise.
हैं कि उसने कितनी ट्रांजैक्शंस किया और उन ट्रांजैक्शंस में से कितनी बार उसने क्वालिटी मीट किया. तो अगर उसने 12 ट्रांजैक्शंस किया, आउट ऑफ 12 he met in 8, he met in 9, he met in 10. That could be a very good information to look at कि कितना क्वालिटी स्कोर. जहां जहां पर मेरे पास टारगेट्स हैं, ठीक है, मेरे पास 6 आइटम्स के टारगेट्स हैं, एटलीस्ट उन 6 आइटम्स को, लेट मी शेयर माय स्क्रीन अगेन. So here I've got target. Okay, so I've got target for these 4 things. AHT I've got in target.
Yes, sir.
Typing speed I've got a target. Process knowledge
Yes.
score I've got a target. Quality scores. पहली चीज हमको जो इसमें से निकाल सकते हैं अगेंस्ट दिस टारगेट, कितने लोगों ने 9 मिनट्स का AHT किया, नहीं किया तो कौन से वो लोग थे. तो दैट इज वन पीस ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन. देन कितने लोगों का टाइपिंग स्पीड जो है वो 25 या 25 से ज्यादा है. That's another information we can put. कितने लोगों का प्रोसेस नॉलेज टेस्ट स्कोर 90 या 90 से अबव है, और कितने लोगों का क्वालिटी स्कोर 90 या 90 से अबव है. So that is the first hand information that you can pull out, and that you should pull out of it wherever you have a target, because these targets, I'm again telling you, these targets come from nowhere, but these targets come from a contractual agreement. ठीक है, एक कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल अग्रीमेंट होता है क्लाइंट के साथ कि जब हम ये चीज प्रोसेस करेंगे हम कम से कम इतना तो करेंगे ही. अगर हम उसमें मीट नहीं करते तो हमारे क्लाइंट्स हमें पेनल्टी भी लगा सकते हैं. तो ये सबसे पहली चीज हमें दिखाना है कि जहां पर भी कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल मेरा अग्रीमेंट है, डिड आई मीट और डिड आई नॉट मीट दैट. ठीक है, सो दैट इज फर्स्ट थिंग वी शुड डू. हम सब में चेक कर सकते हैं. AHT से यहाँ पर आई हैव गॉट माय पिवट, आई कैन क्विकली गो and simply first run an overall, को भी हटा देते हैं. I can quickly run an overall HT and see what is my array. Okay, so this is my AHT overall. Let me take it to another sheet. Sorry. Okay, so I do an AHT, so पूरा आ गया, but then I can't do it that way. Maybe I can do it here itself. equals average. My average EST is 11.9. मेरा target 9 है. See, I'm way far from my target. Instead of 9 AHT, my overall is 11.9. Now that's the first story overall. Then my second story would be maybe I can just pinpoint on the names. Okay, अब मैं pivot use कर सकता हूँ. I can pick the names and then I can run a average. ठीक है, अब यहाँ पर एवरेज आ गया. मैं देखूंगा मैं इसमें फॉर्मूला लगा सकता हूं. Vipin, now you see how I'm adding some formulas here. So I say calculated field. What is the name of the field? Met, not met. Let's see. I haven't done it for a long time. Formula is if AHT is less than 9. Okay, so it doesn't give a value here. Anyway, that is how you can add your new calculated fields the way you require. You want to do what can we do? I do not have a requirement here, but I'll just show you something. So there are number fields, so I can say AHT plus typing speed. It has no meaning, but then that is how you can insert. You can create your own formulas here. Insert. Oh, it got added to that. Sorry. Okay. So this is just an addition of two fields in my raw data. Okay. So numbers. This is number. This is number. So you want to create average. You want to create some. You can add formulas, but I don't know why this formula did not work. I'll investigate on that, but it should have worked. If formula. Now I know it because this is average. First, I would have to add an average field here. I have to figure out. Anyway, so the other information that then what I can do, I can because this 49 making graph out of 49 data points may not help to understand anything. So what I can do, I can pull this out of here, I can say met, not met. I can say if this is less than 9, then not met, else met. So now done it reverse. Okay, so it seems everybody is not met. Now I can create another pivot here. Okay, and 100% of the people have not met. So maybe the targets are incorrect. None of them have met the AHT, average AHT target. Okay, but then I can do this on the raw file itself here for every transaction. Then I think there would be somebody who has met it. And say AHT met, not met. If my AHT value is less than 9, then it is met. In fact, this should be less than equal to 9. It is met, else not met. Okay, and then I can use this into my pivot and okay, so met, not met. Okay, and then I can say show this by percentage of grand total. So 79% of the people, 79% of the transactions we did not meet the AHT. That's another insight that we can do. Okay, so so now we've partially discussed. This case study too. I'll share this, the working that we did. I'll share it with ma'am, and she'll send it across to you. But I want to discuss case study 3, which you work on your own. This is not very complicated, but there is a different flavor that I've added to this case study. Okay, so this is again for a certain transaction. It's only for a certain transaction. Okay, you have the name of the person. One of the tasks out of all the tasks is sending a notice. Okay, so that is what this task is. There were plenty of other tasks, but I just pulled out 200 data points from one of the tasks. And what the description, if any payment was collected, how much total time that people took, from which state the transaction came in the US. These are all short forms. Okay, then which week, whether he was from a new team or old team. We just there is nothing that is required to be done in terms of any analysis. What we need to do is we just need to report out what has happened. Now one caveat here, एक चीज ध्यान से इसमें समझना कि जो description है, since this is a free text typing, right? So लोगों को बोला कि ये खुद से ही आप टाइप करोगे, आपने क्या किया. So people may have typed things incorrectly. They would mean the same thing, but उन्होंने कुछ incorrect दिया होगा. मैं आपको एक दो चीज दिखा देता हूँ, but rest you have to see yourself. देखो जैसे यहाँ पर इसने लिखा notice published, full stop, comma, full stop, CC mailer has sent, full stop. Okay. So just notice each of these texts, because Excel के लिए even one dot or a space is a different text. Then the next one wrote published 3 dots. ठीक है. Similarly here, यहाँ पर किसने लिख दिया notices published. See, no, instead of notice, somebody wrote notices published. This is the same transaction, but when you try to do a pivot, or even when you try to use a formula to know how many of these kinds of transactions happened, then this will show as a different transaction. So that means that even before we can do any analysis on this data, we need to prepare our data, which means we need to correct this data so that we are able to show the right output. Okay, and similarly you will see some more errors that have happened. Okay, and that is exactly what I want you to pick up on your own, because if you are able to do this with whatever we have done in the last 2 days, then you are off on your own. इसको attempt करो, इसको attempt जरूर करना. That is my humble request. You attempt. These are not very complex things to do. The complexity comes only when you start thinking this is complex. Nothing is easy in life. Okay? Nothing is easy in life. But the moment you start understanding what you're doing, things becomes easy. So just notice. I can give you a hint. You can quickly draw a pivot on and look at the description. You will be able to quickly catch. The errors. There is another way of doing it by removing duplicates and getting only the unique values. So when you compare the unique values, those will be less than. If you go through each of this, you may not be able to easily identify, because these are 200 rows of data, and some data may be here, but different data may be in 190th row. You may not understand. One way is doing a pivot. The other way is removing duplicates. When you remove duplicates, you can quickly see from that smaller set of data which things are incorrect, and you come back and quickly search and correct that with the other kind of description. So all descriptions, similar descriptions should match. You also have to look at if there is an extra dot, if there is an extra space somewhere in the data, and you have to prepare your data, then show the output. This file is also with all of you.